So I was talking about some of the foods that either shock people or they just can't be bothered because they don't know where to start. Because basically they've come from a different food heritage or different economy, culture, superstitions are different in every place you go. Um, so there are kids walking around this house, so there's too much going on. But forgive me, so I'll continue. Um, so, like I said, I'm not using a teleprompter in front of me, so I'll be referring to my notes here. No cheating. Um, so, I'm specifically addressing the community that have moved from one place to another, essentially by boat, by your airplane. They have gone overseas and they found themselves in a new eating habit that is totally different from where they came from. For example, in our economy in Kenya, the culture of eating um, uh, grounded corn, maize or corn in the form of the corn flour called ugali, is a very um, essential ritual in our daily lives over there. So people eat ugali, also known as sima. In my Doluo language, we say kwon. And over here in the UK, it is not something that people do. They just eat the corn on the cob after boiling it. I think in Germany there was places where I saw corn is actually used for producing electricity. You know, they burn it. The farms grow lots of corn and they use it for bioenergy. But going back to why I'm speaking about um, some of the shock that people from elsewhere get when they come to a new place is because when they go to the shops, they they may not know exactly what's in front of them and whether to buy it or not, and are they going to eat it, cook it. So, as I said, I'm addressing the diaspora and essentially Africans. I can't speak on behalf of people from South Asia or China or whatever, so no, or India or South America. So I'll just talk to Africans. But maybe this might apply to other people as well. Um, so if you'd never eaten cheese, what would be your first experience if you've never eaten cheese? And would you try it or would it put you off? So I'll try to jog my memory here. Um, First, in Africa, there's a lot of dairy products that people enjoy and eat or drink. I'm not going to go through all of them, but each and every culture has its own name for their dairy products. And we have a thing called nyende in Luo in our traditions, which is a byproduct of a byproduct of dairy products. And it tastes in a very special way. The way it's produced after milk has been essentially pasteurized and kept in a gourd and continuously shaken and stored, and it develops a certain smell and scent and taste. And then the sediments that will be called nyande. So basically, the subcultures that are misunderstood by other cultures. And I told you there's a lot of noise in the background because it's hard to stop this noise. We'll just have to get used to it. And just give me 2 seconds. I'll close this door. So I'm back. The dairy products, essentially cheese, um, not the industrial cheese, and just talking about what people buy in the shops and take home with them and eat. So, in my experience, and I would say this from day one when I first came to Europe in 1993, I found it very difficult to buy things in the shops because I didn't know what. Okay, this thing is edible, but how do you cook it, or how do you even start using it? What are the side effects, if there is any? Would I like it? Would I like the taste or not? So it was a matter of trial and error. So I'm going to tell you a funny story here about cheese. And my initial process of accepting, for example, the foods that I saw in the shops in London, uh, as delicious as they purported to be, was just I was a bit stubborn about what I really wanted to choose from the shelf, and it became very confusing. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. That's people playing Lego here. And you know, when you move to a totally new place and you think all you can do is make a cup of tea and eat some bread and that's it, or warm some beans, which comes in a canned tin, in a tin. The whole thing is just for beginners, a new start. So I walked into this shop. I remember it was Quicksave. Quicksave was a North Rails discounted shops for groceries and so on. And I think that was around 1994. I saw this thing in the fridge. I have a sample here, but that's from a different supermarket here now. I just removed it from the fridge here in the house. This thing is a block of cheese called Edam. And you know, you're supposed to eat the yellow part. And I used to eat everything, including the red part. And the red part of this cheese is called it's a wax. So basically, you know that cheese has a lot of sodium. So I'm not only taking in too much sodium, but and other cholesterol stuff, but I'm also eating the wax. So please don't be asking me whether it was a dangerous thing to do or not. All I know is that the wax had no taste at all, but it never killed me because I'm still here, and I ate this wax for as long as I can remember. So that was my first cultural shock in the UK. I ate cheese wax because I think as hard as it is, it's not very hard, but it is harder than the softer bit, which is the actual cheese. But you think because of the way it's presented, you think, oh, I'll eat that as well. So I had to eat it with the biscuits or bread, whatever. It was fast food for me. This Edam. I've always loved Edam cheese. And then one day I went to a student party. I was, doing a certain course in politics or whatever. and there were all these bites, and the person who hosted the party saw me cutting the Edam and eating the red wax as well. And he looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And I thought, I'm eating. And he said, "No, you can't eat that. That is wax." And I said, "But I've been eating that red wax for some time." And they all laughed. So that was the last day that I ate the wax of cheese. And to me, that is nearly a premier example of culture shock. So do we need mentors when we go to a new country, to tell you this, you don't eat this, you eat this, but not this? There's more stories to share about culture shock. So keep your ears in. Let's talk more about culture shock, because it's not the best idea to keep quiet about what you don't know about the new place that you move to. You need to, if you're in doubt, don't be eating a loaf of bread every day, or banana every day, or an apple every day, because you're afraid of cooking processed foods that come in the shapes of tins or frozen foods and stuff. I know people who have come from abroad who essentially will not eat, cook any frozen foods that they see in the supermarkets. They have many superstitions about this. So the bloody wax, red bloody wax, it looks red. It is red, and I didn't mean to say it is bloody as if to say that it's the composition of this thing is horrific. No, all I'm trying to say is that that was a major culture shock for me, and I know that you wouldn't even feed that wax to your dog. So let's talk culture, especially cultural shock. Subscribe here, and see you soon.